Welcome to the OVAReact podcast.
In a society that tries to put women in a box.
Let's overreact. It's your girl, Momo Hoya.
It's your girl, Angela Wambui.
And it's your girl, Lash Angela. And today we have a special guest. Please introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Waithera. I'm the Group Director, Corporate Affairs at Biofoods.
We're so happy to have you here, and we're so excited for having you guys overreact with us. We're thankful to Lockwood Furniture for being our set design, and we're excited for overreacting today. And if you haven't watched previous episodes, you can do so. And you can watch the episodes at Capital FM YouTube Kenya, and you can also listen to it episodes through our podcast platform, www.sisterspeaksglobal.org.
And don't forget, every Wednesday, which is the last Wednesday of the month, you can catch up on The Fuse, where we are having an Overreact hour with Anne Moora. Everything women, everything trending, everything, including a playlist from women, your favorite women artists. So make sure that you overreact with us then.
And make sure that you catch us across our social media platforms at Sister Speaks 254, at Overreact Podcast, at Capital FM Kenya, and at Heels for Pads.
Yes. And if, as Angela said, if you're not following at Sister Speaks 254, then you might not understand what I'm about to share. So we have an event coming up at the end of May. It's called, we're switching it up. We usually have an event called Heels Connect, but this time we're switching it up to Sneakers Connect. And it's a women and health fit camp. So it's an opportunity to come and dance. So we have Martina Glez, who will be our lead dance facilitator. We'll also have the opportunity for you guys to interact with health experts, talking on nutrition, talking on wellness, talking on fitness. Your girl over here is going to be the moderator of the conversation. And there's an opportunity to replenish with Biofoods, who's one of our partners. And so we're so excited to have a conversation today around the participation of Biofoods with our event, but more importantly, learning about one of the women lead corporate members of Biofoods and how her story came to be. And so once again, welcome, Waithera, and congratulations on your recent new lead role. So your flowers.
Yes.
And we're so excited to have you here. Tell us, before we get into the conversation of your journey in leadership, your contribution to why health is important through the organization. Tell us a fun fact about you.
So something that most people don't know is that I loved agriculture from a young age. So when everybody was going for the really posh subjects, I begged my parents, please let me go and do agriculture, and they refused. So I went and did a business degree, and I'd been in media and marketing for a very long time. But the moment I got a gap, I dropped everything to go back to school to do agriculture.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did you grow up in a farm?
I grew up in a farm.
Oh.
So my mom was a farmer. And incidentally, farming for me was fun.
Mm-hmm.
So what would happen is I tell everybody I'm 44. TV used to start at 5 o'clock. That was KBC. So there's nothing to do during the day. So what would happen is you go and spend time milking cows, being in the farm. So for me, that was actually fun. So when I was done with primary school and I went into high school, and everybody was saying agriculture was shady, I didn't understand because I was like, that was my fun. You know? So that's a fun fact about me.
You have a connection
We
there.
have a connection. I also grew up in the farm. And one thing that my grandfather never allowed, we never milked. So I wish I did.
Oh, why?
Yeah. He said those are men duties.
Okay.
So we never went close to the cow, but I used to love milk.
Okay.
And in the byproducts of the milk. So all we used to do is, I grew up in Nyandarua. It's very agricultural. You'll find everything green, everything beautiful. I had fun growing up at the farm as well. So that's something we have in common. Yeah.
Fun fact, I tried to milk my grandma took me to go milk a cow. It's the only time that cow whipped me with the tail. Oh, no. I was like, because it's not familiar with my hands and stuff. So I was like, yeah, let me just stick to my lane.
Yeah, the closest I've ever actually gone to a cow udder is because I told the Shamba boy, can I try? And then I just kicked the bucket and all the milk was on the floor.
Yes.
That was it. And my grandfather was like, you should never go close to the cattle.
Scary.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something about milking a cow. A cow's udder is as sensitive as a woman's breast.
Makes sense.
So
Look at you.
I'm overreacting.
That's a crazy
That
fact.
makes sense.
So I can understand why it almost kicked you.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
Oh no,
God.
it did. It whipped me with the whipped.
The
It whipped
tail.
it. It whipped its tail, not its
Oh,
hair.
yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
interesting.
that's so interesting. So then that explains why even with what you do makes sense, because there's a merger of whatever you're already an expert on in terms of your marketing, and then there's the merger of you've grown up in this environment, you understand even farmer culture, you understand why it's important to figure out how to be better. We've had a guest before in our very first few seasons who is in the space of potatoes, and one of the things that she used to say is the country is, as you've said, green, there's so much opportunities, but the issue when it comes from like an exporting point of view is not growing things right, not growing. And what would you say about that, like in terms of even your own journey through do you farm currently?
Yes.
You do? Okay.
Bananas, I'm from Moranga. So yeah.
Okay. So anyway, in terms of like even just that combination of understanding how farming culture is quite a challenge for people because of not farming things right. So then you end up finding that people are not contributing towards the market. So like even how you choose your farmers is different. But before we get into that conversation, which we'll learn about your grass to glass strategy, your leadership journey is quite interesting. We have something in common. We had an off conversation. So a lot of people have heard me say this, that one of my inspiration has always been Sheryl Sandberg. And it's always about like the lean-in culture. Do you understand the lean-in culture? So for those who don't know, lean-in culture is really about putting yourself out there, going into boardrooms, not being as scared to like step out. And that's something that you really attribute towards your style and your leadership. Talk us through from what you learned from Sheryl Sandberg and how it's also contributed to your journey and how you also implement that with your staff and your team. The lovely Irene, who might be watching here.
And June.
And June, who's here with us.
So first, thank you for the flowers.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it. And I always say that, so today morning I called one of my best friends and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to say. And he told me, women never accept, they never accept their flowers. So if a man has done well and you tell him, this has happened, you've been promoted, you've been appointed, he'll say, thank you very much, I work very hard, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But when you tell a woman, congratulations, she'll say, no, it's it's God, we must thank our God. Mm-hmm. But it's it's like we have so many reasons, but we never ever accept our flowers and our kudos. And what happens is, because we continuously teach other people not to thank us for the things that we've done, people stop doing it and they downplay what women do, because women actually downplay what they do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So for me, I'll say my journey of leadership, first, I'm really grateful. I'm grateful to God. I'm grateful to my village, because having children, being a single mom, doing my job is very difficult without a village around you to just support you and make sure that things run. Yeah. So when people say work-life balance, I'm like, there's nothing like work-life balance. It's work-life systems. You need to have systems that work. Yeah?
I like that.
So that you're able to make life make sense. So personal development and upskilling is something that I've always invested in. Like I'll tell you, my first degree, and then my second degree, and then my third degree, and now I'm on my fourth degree.
Girl.
Hey, I love it.
Can you drop all of them? List them for us, because wow.
So
impressive.
Basically, what I always say is, for me, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I have the boss that I have, because you cannot excel if you don't have the right environment.
I agree.
And my boss is, in Kenya, we just know him as Joachim, but he's actually a global leader. He's got business interests in sub-Saharan Africa, which you know as Biofoods and Highlands and Greenspoon and Maxim. But he also has business interests in Asia and other continents. So I'm glad that I work for somebody who builds a pipeline for talent that he considers useful to the business. Yeah. So that's the first thing. And then secondly, he's an ally, like a true ally, not a PR ally. So I always say sometimes you meet people and then you find that women have been tokenized. They're given positions because of the 70-30, blah, blah, blah. For him, when people come into our business, they get shocked because leadership, 60% of our business is women. Yeah.
Okay.
And he always says, if you invest in women, you run a very profitable business.
Absolutely.
Because women are invested in the business doing well. So long as the business is doing well by them, they are 100% invested in the business. So I'm glad I work in the environment I work in. I'm glad I work with the boss that I work for. And I also have a fantastic leadership peer team within the business, but also the team that I work with. Yeah, because there's no way. What do we say? No man is an island.
Yeah, absolutely.
So without the team I have right now, and without the culture that we have, I wouldn't be who I am today. So that has basically been my leadership journey.
I like that. I like that the lean in for you has also been easier because you have somebody who allows you to lean in, which is always important. And I guess as a result, you're fostering that same environment. Yeah.
Definitely Biofoods. It's a household name. And I think you just talked about the leader, the visionary behind Biofoods. So your values are all about equity, health, and putting your customers first. Would you say these are the key drivers that have either brought Biofoods to this position where it's a leading product and health product for many households in Kenya? Would you say those are the values that have carried you to where you are?
Yes, because one of the things, and I always say culture flows from the top. So if there's a problem, whether it's with the business, with the country, whatever, culture flows from the top. My boss always says, I'd rather you tell me the truth. When you've done a mistake, come and tell me the truth. Then we'll fix it together rather than lying and covering it up until it explodes. Because when it explodes, he doesn't want to listen, you know?
Yeah.
So my boss has a culture of integrity. And what happens is, I always say you're the sum of the 5 people you hang around with. So he ensures that our environment is one that integrity is a value, transparency is a value, passion is a value. So anytime you meet anybody from bio, you'll automatically see the happiness. Once you start telling them about bio, they're very passionate. They'll tell you, oh, at bio we do this and we do that, because you're proud of the business we work in, yeah? And then there's also the element of trust. We do not take consumers' trust in our brand lightly. Okay. And as we go along, I'll just give you some instances where trust is what drives, or rather how trust drives the business. Because without that, we have no right to exist in this market. Yeah.
Wanted to say something around what you've just said. On our event in October, we had an event, Hills Connect Women and Wealth. And it was about finances, and it was about creating a space for women to come and learn and be skilled. You brought your daughter. And I remember you saying you want her to learn too. And so you have a leader who allows you to lead. You're also leading a team, and you're also influencing that to your child. But I know from conversations that we've had that there's also how you grew up has played a role in how you also show up as a parent. Take us, for anyone who's listening, who's a mother, sometimes you tend to, or parent, sometimes you tend to think, no, that's for grown-up stuff, like I shouldn't take my child. But the more you expose your child, then it becomes easier for them to show up better in the world and even know how to negotiate for themselves, right?
Well, so I'll start with my dad, the way he raised us. So when I was about 6-7 years old, what would happen is my dad would go on Sunday and buy all the newspapers. So there was Nation, Standard, there was a Swahili paper called Taifa Leo, blah, blah, blah. And he'd bring all the papers home. And then his friends would come over, because then guys never used to have the culture of going out to pubs as they do. So guys would have a lot of house parties. his friends would come over, and my dad would make me sit there with the newspapers, and I'd read page by page. And so I'd start with, today, Moi, read this. I go, Kamotho did, and blah, blah, blah. So I'd read the papers, and he'd tell me, okay. Then his friend would say, no, this paper, read page 2, there's this story. So they just sit there, and they're just listening to me talk. And I'm reading. So what would happen, they'd have a conversation afterwards. And they'd say, you know, this, and I'd be there, and I'm like all of 6 or 7. And I'm there, I'm saying, no. And my dad would say, you know, she's the one who read. Let her. And then I say, no, I read. Moi went here. He didn't go where you're saying he went. And we'd have that conversation. And I guess to them it was just funny because I was a little kid over there telling them about politics. But what happened is I learned to trust my voice, especially in the business space. So, and my team will tell you, it doesn't matter who I meet. You will not intimidate me. I don't care what title you have, where you come from. I'm comfortable bantering with anybody. It doesn't matter. So that was the first thing. Then secondly, my mom is very, we like to call her a diva, because even to the supermarket, she'll dress up and she'll say, no, you never know who you're going to meet. You don't know which opportunity you're going to get. So for her, everything must be done with excellence, yeah? And growing up, I used to feel like, I mean, really, I want to go to the supermarket in my pajamas. And she'd say, the day you go to the supermarket in your pajamas is the day you meet the person you don't want to meet in your pajamas. So from a young age, I learned image was very important. Excellence was very important. And on my dad's side, that my voice meant something. So because he always involved me in a lot of things that he was doing, I was the only girl. So if he's meeting his friends, he'd tell me, if you want to come, just come and listen, come and ask questions. If his friend buys a new car, he'd ask me, have you seen the car? Ask him to take you around in the car. Okay, ask him how much the car was. Ask him how much money he's making. Ask him where he's making money from to buy that car. And, I'd ask these questions. And then it's, oh, yeah, but I'm a lawyer. Oh, I'm a this, I'm doing this. Or we go to his friends, Mjengos, and I ask, okay, how is this house built, And they'd explain it to me. So what happened is I also got a culture of I don't feel foolish asking questions. So even in meetings, even though everybody else is nodding their head, I'll be like, hey, excuse me, what does this mean exactly? Yeah. And sometimes you find you'll ask a question, then you realize, oh, okay, everybody is nodding their head.
Because they weren't the only one who needed that answer.
Yeah.
But I'm not afraid of feeling foolish in the process of learning. Yeah. And that is something that we need to shed off sometimes. So one of the things I do is I invite my daughter along, same way. And I tell her, okay, we're going to Sister Speaks. I want you to come. I want you to listen. If you have any questions, ask. So there's this time when you tell us now to have a conversation.
Yes.
And she's there, and people are talking about their careers, and she's talking about the things she's doing, and people think she actually has a job. Then she says, someone asks her, okay, so what do you do? Oh, I'm in year 11. But because she's learned to carry herself in certain spaces. So I love, and I always tell her, I'm not raising a child. I'm raising a global leader. I'm raising a global citizen.
Yes.
When we go to the airports, sometimes, and she always tells me, Mama, I can never get lost in an airport because it's the best labeled place in the whole world. Yeah?
That's true.
So we go in, and I'll give her, maybe she holds her passport, I hold my passport, and I tell her, okay, we're going to gate this particular gate, get us there. And she'll just follow, she'll ask questions, she'll get herself there. Because the idea is you're supposed to be preparing your child to be independent in this world. You're not preparing them so that they can keep, of course I'd love for her to call me every day and ask me, Mama, how do I do this? But at the end of the day, if I have a child who can hold her own in this world, I've done my part. Yeah.
I love
Oh,
that.
God, congratulations on such a beautiful mommy-daughter relationship. I think it's really inspiring just hearing your motherhood journey and how you've instilled that confidence in your daughter from a young age. And you also touched a lot on the values of biofoods. So when it comes to even empowering the communities, and not only do your products taste amazing, but they're also nutritionally good in terms of value and quality. Are there any outreach programs that Biofoods does to empower communities in terms of like educating them on the importance of nutrition when it comes to choosing certain foods?
Okay, so I'm going to answer that question in two parts. So the first is we don't talk about community outreach. For us, we talk about the fact that you're a sustainable business. And sustainability means that we embed it in each and every part of our value chain. So when we talk about the community, we make sure that every community that we operate in, whether it's the farming community, our supplier community, our employee people community, we are always giving back and making sure that they live their best lives. So how do we give back? I'll give an example. We're very heavy into backward integration with our farmers. So recently, June was part of that trip, and my boss, so they go down to, I won't tell you where, in Rift Valley. Then they meet this farmer, and this farmer was not even part of the trip. And he's like, no, you have to come to my farm, you have to come to my farm. So eventually they go to the farm. This guy had a mud house and a corral for his animals. They went and he had now a stone house. And he was so excited, and he was like, because bio pays us the best, I was able to save money, and I was able to get a loan, and I was able to build this house. And if you follow my boss on LinkedIn, Jackie Masterveld, you'll see the actual house that this guy had built, and he was so proud. So when people ask me, what do you guys do? I say, we are not in the business of buying milk. We're in the business of changing lives. One milk liter at a time.
Amazing. And does that speak to your slogan, grass to glass? For anyone who wants to know more, that slogan, what does it embody when it comes to biofoods?
Okay, so basically what we say is our integrity, trust, brand love flows from grass to glass. Yeah? So one of the things that we do, so I'll just break down the value chain very quickly from grass to glass.
Yes.
One of the things that we do with our farmers is ensure that they have the right inputs for their milk. Yeah? So we educate the farmers. Two, we work with our farmers. So I'll backtrack a little bit. Agriculture in this country is a hobby for many people. So you have a little farm or a big farm or whatever you've inherited from your parents. You go put some carrots, you come back to Nairobi, you remote control, how the cows, how's the, and it's not sustainable, right?
Yeah.
And for those who actually live on their farms, this is at the very subsistence level, are not trained well enough so that they're able to get the best value that they can from the land that they have. At Bio, we operate differently. We work with farmers like it's a business. It's not even like it's a business, it's a business.
Okay.
So we teach you how to do your documentation. We teach you how to calculate the value of inputs that go into the milk and that you get out. Yeah? So most of the times we'll even talk about margins after feed cost, which means that what are your profits after you've fed the cow, you've gotten the milk and you've sold it to us. We teach you how to manage your herd. How much of your herd is milking? How much of your herd is non-milking at this point? Because you want to consistently have a profitable herd that is making you money, right? So that's how integrated we are from the farmer level. We know, I always say our milk, because we are so integrated, we understand, we have dashboards in terms of how our farmers are feeding. If you, Angela, call me today and tell me there's a problem with this bottle of milk, I'll tell you, just send me a picture of the batch number. You'll send me a picture of the batch number. When we go back to the office, we'll be able to tell you which day the cow was milked, which herd it came from, what it ate on that day. Our traceability system is spot on.
Amazing.
So we're able to say, okay, on this day, it was from this particular farm. We call the farmer, what happened?
Yeah.
Then you'll tell me, oh, maybe the milk smells a bit off. What happened? Oh, when we were going to the cattle dip, we passed blackjack. The cows ate blackjack. That is what you're smelling in the milk. And then you're able to know, okay, fine, this is what happened to this batch. We'll replace it. But at the end of the day, that is the level of quality that Bio operates in. So all the way till the factory, we do 17 tests on our milk. Yeah. So we test on the ground and we test on site. Let me tell you something. And I think I said this in your event last time. we supply a lot of major hospitals because we give you an antibiotic-free guarantee and an aflatoxin-safe guarantee. What does that mean? Antibiotics mean that at the end of the day, if you go to hospital and they give you a cup of tea and you're heavily medicated, you should not get extra medication from the milk because that could end up being a very big problem. So we give guarantees. We're audited all the time by hospitals, by big chains, hotel chains, because they want to know that that guarantee we give is legitimate. Another thing, we talk about aflatoxin and we talk about health. Sorry, I'm going this way.
No.
When you talk about aflatoxin, aflatoxin is an endocrine disruptor. What does that mean? It means that it messes around with your hormones. What are your hormones? Hormones are the chemicals that allow your body to signal that you're sick, that you're healthy, that it's time to sleep, all that kind of stuff. If that is in your milk and your food continuously, what happens to your body? Yeah? You start getting sick. You start getting cancer. You start getting all these things. So for us, when we promise the market and we say we're aflatoxin safe and we can give you that guarantee, we're telling you that you as a lady who's premenopausal, you can trust our brand because we're not going to come and mess around with what's happening in your body
already.
Yeah? And some of this, I always say, when the media reports that this food was found aflatoxin, this one, you need to go deeper and tell people why that is a national crisis. If you find that there's this in whatever food, I will not mention which food, there's a problem because immediately afterwards, what's going to happen? You find a lot of people saying, oh, I'm having thyroid issues, but where is that coming from? It's coming from our food, yeah? So we all, I wish it should just not be a bio guarantee. It should be every manufacturer, every farmer's guarantee that when you buy food from me, you're buying your health, you're buying your future. And I want to guarantee that I'm giving you good health, I'm giving you a good future.
Amazing.
I like
You definitely have given us a very detailed approach in terms of how biofoods work. So ethical farming, ethical sourcing, and whatever we find on our shelves is good for us as consumers and is good for the planet because of the sustainable and smart practices that you train the farmers. I was going to ask you, you mentioned earlier that most of your workforce, they are women, and we've seen how also going back, most of the households.
There's a good balance of
a
gender.
good balance.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So the reason why I'm going back to this is the support that we get from bio. We know most of the decision makers at household level. I'm going to go to the supermarket with my son. He's probably going to point at a yogurt. I make that decision. So we know empowerment is a part and parcel of what you do. What does it mean for a brand like yours to ensure that women are actually empowered from whether you're a farmer, whether you're a schoolgirl, whether it's what we do and the women that we reach with the work we do?
That's a very interesting question. So one of the things that we do, so I'm going to answer it again into two parts. One is in terms of the community. Yeah, we always ensure that how we deal. Okay, I'll give you an example. A project that we did, Safe Milk. So Safe Milk was a project that we did in partnership with some NGOs, educating consumers about why it is important to drink safe milk. While in the process of doing so, we realized that, because one of the riders that we got was that you're supposed to support women and youth. So when we went to the ground and we started engaging a lot of the women, we found out that a lot of the money that comes from farming does not necessarily, women do the work, but the money doesn't come into their pockets. So some of the things as we are training, we also encourage them like how to handle their money, what to do. We don't say it's inculcated in the curriculum, but we're able to teach business skills so that they're able to better understand how to handle the business of farming. Yeah. Two, even within the business, I always say we try and help all genders, because even now the boy child, I mean,
Yeah.
so it's not girl child or boy child. It's about how do we help our community so that we're able to have a better empowered next generation. So the second thing is, you spoke about households. For us, what we've seen, as much as the woman is the influencer in terms of purchasing, what is happening is our households are becoming fragmented. So women are becoming more empowered, but then men are also shopping a lot because there are very many single men. Yeah. So we have to talk to.
Where are they? Just I'm asking for myself, but anyway, continue.
Hang around.
Okay.
I'll introduce you to many.
Say less.
Okay, so one of the things we are noticing is demographics are changing. Before we used to talk to the woman alone. Now we cannot talk to the woman alone. We have to talk to the woman and we have to talk to the man. Yeah? Women are interested in purchasing for their children. So we talk to them the language that they need to understand, how to feed their children better, how to handle their health better, how to support their nutrition. When we find platforms like yours, we really want to engage and support, because that's the only way that we're able to spread our outreach, because we can't do everything by ourselves.
Yeah.
And then for men also, and you can't leave the man behind right now.
Yeah.
Everybody's a sexy daddy these days. Yeah? Men are taking care of their health. They're starting to work out more, and they also need nutritional information. Yeah. So we're also trying to see how we can support women, but also how we can support men, so that we actually have a healthy community, and not just one side that is empowered and the other side has no clue what's going on.
Balance.
It makes so much sense, and really aligns with the purpose of even just the fact that we're talking about nutrition, we're talking about health. I've had my own journey in terms of health, in terms of losing, like a yo-yo, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight. And even just understanding the body transformation. And some of the conversations that we'll be having is around hormonal health, which you touched on a bit. In terms of the products that Biofoods has, and even maybe your own personal journey, how is considering your nutrition and thinking about what you're putting in your body? You mentioned your age, so also age plays a factor in how we are as women, in terms of who we were in our 20s, who we were in our 30s. Our body relates to food differently.
The big
our body, menopause, premenopause. In terms of health and contributing, how what are the techniques you use in terms of products that you use that are suitable for you? There's somebody who's a woman like you, high up, is a mother, has a high job. Also, you said you're running, you have your own farm, so you're doing so many things. How do you fit? What are some of the tips and tricks you fit into your day-to-day to ensure that you have health taken care of, fitness taken care of?
So one of the things I do is I only buy bio.
Okay, I love that.
And not because I work there, but because of the quality and cleanliness of the ingredients that go into the products.
Yeah.
And one reason I'll tell you why it's important is I'm 44 now. I told you that earlier. Yeah. Nobody tells you that when you turn 39, 40, you start gaining weight in a way that does not make sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you try and eat the way you used to, it's not working. You work out the way you used to, it's not working. Yeah. So part of it is because, again, hormonal imbalances, because of what we're eating. So once I realized that what I put in my body has a direct correlation to how I look, this is in terms of skin, in terms of hair, one of the things that happens is as you grow older, you find that women are losing hair. Yeah, there's this whole thing. And
I rebuke that for myself, though.
And it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. It's just a matter of food. Yeah. It's a matter of the chemicals that we're putting in our hair. It's the skin products that we're putting on our faces. And I always say, if I can't eat it, I don't want to put it on my skin. Yeah. Because
that's a good way to look at it.
So I try as much as possible to be natural. I'll buy natural shea butter, fenugreek oil, rosemary for my hair. Like, I try as much as possible to keep it as natural as possible. Yeah, that's the first thing. The second thing is, I mean, I was always between 70 to 75 kilos. Last month I was weighing 95 kilos. Now I'm at 91 kilos. I am trying my best to lose weight. And one of the things, so I went to a doctor some time back, and he told me, listen, you cannot work out like a young girl. You cannot run here, up, down, do 10 kilometers and think that's how you're going to lose weight. As you grow older, you have to do a lot of weights, yeah? And to do weights, that means that you have to eat a lot of protein, and good protein. And one of the products that I love, as I plug in our products.
Yes, please. We were actually going to do that rapid fire, so go on.
Is Bioactive Power. It's it's a high protein shake that we created. And why I like it is because it's direct injection. I don't have to eat I'm not a good eater. I don't have to eat a huge steak to get protein, yeah? All I need to do is get one bottle, drink it, I have my 25 grams of protein for the day, yeah? So it helps with the muscle replacement. So there's so many things. I mean, what do I do? I like peace.
You don't want problems.
I don't want problems.
You want peace. I feel you go.
So I'm very careful about the spaces that I'm at, yeah? If you're toxic, I'm so sorry. I'll ghost you as fast as a Gen Z ghosts a job. Like,
No.
okay, let me take that back.
The crow is on the floor.
I love
Don't quit on us.
Because, I mean, why should... Literally, my peace of mind is what helps me make money, helps me raise my kids. It's what keeps me sane. It's what keeps me looking young.
Yeah.
So if I'm in a toxic space, I cannot handle it. It's not good for my health. Yeah. And some of my friends tell me, you can disappear for 4 months. I say, yeah, imagine I had to disappear for 4 months because I had to concentrate on what was necessary. But I'll come back. But in the meantime, you'll have sorted out your behavior also. So, you know, the environment makes sense. So those are some of the things I do. And the last thing is I put family first. And the reason I do that is because I grew up in a very tight, integrated family, you know, like I talk about my dad and my mom and my brothers. And when you have a fantastic support system, my life has not always been smooth sailing, yeah? There was one time I really dipped. I was doing business. I wasn't making money. It was like a really, really crazy time. And my family literally came around me and were my safety net, such that as an outsider, nobody would know that I was going through all these issues because they insulated me, made sure my fridge was full, made sure my kids' fees were paid, like made sure there was fuel in my car. And so for me, having a close-knit family is everything. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's how I
100%.
keep my health intact.
I love that.
Well, very well-rounded advice. And I love the fact that you touched on family. So really protecting your mind, body, and soul 360. When it comes to women's health in particular, and maybe hormonal or nutritional gaps that are experienced, there's osteoporosis, according to Osteoporosis Foundation, 50% of women over the age of 50 are at risk of getting osteoporosis due to maybe gaps in vitamin D. So from a biofoods perspective, what are some other maybe gaps that you see in the market when it comes to women's nutrition due to lack of nutritional value when it comes to certain foods?
So this is because I sit in the MPD team and I listen to what's happening. The first gap, before you actually even get into supplements, the first thing is ensuring that you understand and read the label of the product. Yeah? What's on the label should be what's inside the product. Some of the gaps that we see is that people don't understand what actually goes into food. Yeah? So one of the gaps we have is lack of education. So as biofoods, we are consistently educating people that, guys, you need to ask what's in your food. You need to ask what that means for you. When you talk about aflatoxin, people say, oh, it's a big word. And I'm like, oh my God, as a woman, if you ingest this, can you imagine if you ingest it in your rice, you ingest it in this, you ingest it
And you'd be so surprised how many things have aflatoxins in the market right now.
And then it's loaded in your system. So I say, like, sometimes I tell my mom, my friend has PCOS, and she says, whether when she was growing up and when she had me, there are certain diseases you'd rarely hear about. And not because people are hiding them, it's just that they were not prevalent. And she's like, I don't understand how so many of your friends have PCOS, how so many of your friends have this and that and the other. And it's because of the food we're eating. We're literally getting sick from what we're eating. So the first thing I always say, educate yourself, read the label. Always read the label. Yeah. The second thing is ensure that what's going into your body is clean. Yeah. I'll give you an example. We always have consumer tours coming through. And many people would say, okay, I was lactose intolerant until I started taking bio. Now I'm no longer lactose intolerant. I'm like, hold up. You're not allergic to milk. You're allergic to the dirt in the milk. So once you start drinking milk that does not have, and let's be honest, sometimes in our market people put hydrogen peroxide to keep it, fresher for longer. But these things they're not designed for human bodies, and all sorts of things happen. So when you take milk that is not good, and then you switch over, then you're told, oh yeah, but now I can stomach bio. I'm like, yeah. It's about the cleanliness in the milk. Yeah. When you're drinking something that is clean, it makes better sense for your body. That's the second thing. Third is we need to take care of our guts better, because the gut is the beginning of healthy skin, healthy hair, even healthy thoughts. Your gut, your health starts in your gut. Yeah. So consuming something that has probiotics is very important for you. At Bio, we have a probiotic range. We have the probiotic. We have the bioactive. We have the bioactive power, and these are created with probiotics that are good for you and good for your gut. Yeah, and of course, low sugar and low calories. So the last thing is about you need to also monitor how much sugar goes into your products. Yeah. At Bio, we try our best to use stevia and natural sugars. I'll give you an example. We have MaCuisine is one of the companies within the group. MaCuisine does ketchups, mayos, jams, honey, and stuff like that. It's a condiment company. Our jams, we do not add any sugar in them. We get ripe natural fruit. We don't use any preservatives. We only use lemon juice for our jams. Yeah, that's the level of brand promise we have. Like, we're not gonna give you anything that is not good for you. Yeah, our mayos, we only use vinegar to preserve them. So sometimes our shelf life is shorter, but it means that whatever you're eating is good for your body.
Yeah.
Right? So for me right now, it's what's on the label, what's clean, the level of sugar, and also at the end of the day, I always say, let's go back to our traditional foods. Yeah, because it's so important for us. That's where the real nutrients are.
Yeah.
I remember when we were doing guava moringa last year, everybody was asking, why would you do guava and why would you do moringa? And we're like, because one, moringa is prevalent in our country.
And
moringa
it's good for you.
It's readily available. 2, guava is readily available in our country. 3, do you know what guava and moringa is good for?
Tell us.
So it's very high in antioxidants, but it's also very good for boosting testosterone.
Well, we're reacting. Okay.
So we always say, at Bio, we don't just produce products to produce. We try and understand what's going on in the market and make sure that we're able to support your health needs by producing products that make sense for you at that space. Yeah?
Yeah.
So every time I tell all my guy friends, if you invite me for something, I'm not going to bring you a bottle of something. I'm going to bring you guava moringa. Yeah? Put it in your fridges, have it to drink, and let me tell you, every time, okay, now this is anecdotal. Every time I bring it to them, after a while, they're like, okay, Waithera, just tell me which supermarket can I get it. I'm like, good.
Yeah. Okay.
Amazing. as you know, you rightfully put it, like you're very brand focused. You know the market. There's a lot of movement around people being eco-conscious, eco-healthy, and just curious to know what's in the pipeline. You know, are we going to be seeing more superfoods, a different range and new products in the near future from Bio?
Because I like working at Bio, I'll not give you so many details.
Well, we should be excited.
You should
Excited
be
a bit.
excited.
Yes.
So basically what is happening is our MPD team is working very hard. Yeah. We are looking back to what is readily available in our market. Because as we said, we love supporting our farmers. Yeah. Like Mark was saying, the fruits, we source a lot of them from our local farmers. So we are looking at coming back home in terms of expanding our ingredients list for what makes sense locally. Two, we are also looking more into superfoods, because a lot of times they're told by a different market. We've had moringa here since I grew up. Then all of a sudden, moringa is a superfood. We're like, yeah, but we knew it has always been a superfood.
Yeah.
Or guava is a superfood. Yeah, we have been eating it all our lives, So it's looking back again at what we have in our markets, locally available, and that and making it make sense in terms of product offerings you're putting on the table. Then we're also shifting more towards less sugar in products.
Okay.
Because one of the things that we've noticed is our market is becoming more and more conscious. They don't want sugar, they prefer stevia. So if you find like our bioactive power is sweetened with sugar, and that is one of the directions that we are taking and introducing more products in our stable like that. But most important is we are also expanding to the region. So right now, if you go to Rwanda, you go to Uganda, you go to the countries in the region, you'll find our product. But more and more, we're thinking that we need to also support regional retail with our products. So we're going hard into the region.
Exciting.
I
It's
wait
been
to test out what you guys have.
So for all your listeners in Uganda and Rwanda and Burundi, we're coming soon.
I love that. And we're really excited once again for our event coming up, the Sneakers Connect. And we're excited that you guys will be on board. And hopefully we'll also have you sharing more facts about health and transformation. What's your parting shot as we come to a close, either from a leadership point of view or health point of view? What would be something that anyone who's listening that maybe wants to be in your position and become a groups director, or wants to be in your position and is a bit more conscious about health? Yeah.
Your career is too precious to leave it in the hands of someone else. Yeah?
Girl.
So what that means is you're in charge of your competence. Yeah. So be continuously upskilling. You can't say, I didn't get this promotion because I didn't. You need to have the skills. That's one thing. Two, pivot as much as you need to. Just because you started in engineering does not mean that you need to be an engineer till the day you die. If you want to go into music, be a musical engineer. If you want to do whatever makes sense. Because the world we live in has got space for musical engineers who are nutritionists and who at the end of the day want to be DJs at night. Then focus on your personal brand, because you are in charge of your own image. You can't wait for your boss to put you out there. You can't wait for your colleagues to put you out there. You can't wait for your business to promote you so that you're put out there. You are in charge of your brand. Tell your story. Make sure you use LinkedIn, all the platforms that you can possibly use to tell your story.
I love that. It's been a great overreacting with you and even learning from you. There's so many nuggets that I think we're all going to reflect on. Thank you all overreactors for listening to us. We also want to thank Lockwood Furniture for being our set design for today, and we look forward to seeing you with your sneakers, not heels, please, on Saturday the 31st of May at the Junction Mall.
But we wouldn't go without letting you know our favorite bio products, because the bioactive cucumber has me on chokehold.
I love it.
Yes.
My two favorite is the moringa guava. I love that as a yogurt. But my favorite also is a tropical yogurt, the one that comes in the yellow bottle. Love it.
I like the blueberry one, and I also really like guava moringa because I like guava. She knows.
Yes.
Guava is my favorite juice.
Yes. We want to know, what's your favorite biofood? Please put it here in the comments.
Yes.
We might send you a hamper. You never know. Or a free ticket. Yes.
And also beyond our OVAReact podcast, you can catch us every last Wednesday of the month where we collaborate with Anne Moira on The Fuse, and we have the OVAReact Hour from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And, you know, we talk all things women and, of course, celebrating female artists from across the globe. So make sure you keep it locked. You can follow us across our different social media platforms.
And that is Sister Speaks 254 OVAReact on Instagram and Heels for Pads. Also, you can go to www.sisterspeaksglobal.org and you can listen to the previous and last year's and last seasons and this very one right there. So, ladies,
Let's overreact.